I'm not that great here. So let's see how now we are recording. So then we're gonna go live on Facebook. So then hopefully we'll be there by 6 o'clock.
Oops, Lori Fiedler. Okay.
Now my new computer just turned on. I'll work on it.
So hi, Maggie. I heard you saying hi.
Yeah. How you doing, Marlene?
Good.
Hello, Marlene.
What?
My leftovers away, my dinner.
Come on here.
Yep.
Oh, I see Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty color shirt.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
What? There. Gotta be in the wrong spot.
Maggie and Lisa, I think I talked Julie into joining the group from our help classes and classes and, you know, so, but she can't make tonight. But I told her about the bead basics, so we might see her bead basics.
That's great. Thank you.
We should
Yeah,
have a
thanks.
camper. I'm sure there are others, Arizona members. Maybe not.
That's better.
I never understood being a snowbird until I got both my hips replaced, and now I'm ready to be a snowbird.
Okay, this is not working right. So we're trying this again. So that's why I'm starting so early, because this is just having a day.
Well, if you become a snowbird and you go to Arizona, then you get to go to the gem shows.
I know. I want to go to Tucson so bad. And Jeff would, when we get back to going, he would have me go, but I can't leave mom for that long. We're trying to figure out how I could do that so I could go. That would be so fun.
No, I don't want it on my Facebook. I want it on the damn other thing. And so it's just, this is crazy. So it's not letting me access the dumb Facebook account. This is just not going well. Okay, so we're working on it.
Don't
Yeah, we
ask me.
really
I
couldn't
know.
tell, Rochelle. Mm-mm.
We'll get there. All of us
Well, it keeps
understand we're not
it
techies
keeps
either.
asking me to post Zoom stuff on my Facebook timeline. And who can see the app on your Facebook on your thing? And it's just like, I want to go into the page. Does anybody know anything about this? Like why
No.
Facebook has changed their shit?
No.
Because
That's
we're
techie.
so it's
They
recommended
never tell you when they're going to change it either.
accounts, your personal and Upper Midwest.
It's recognizing only Rochelle. And so it's saying Zoom is requesting to poke contest into group on your behalf.
Did you log in as your personal account or in?
I haven't logged in at all. So it keeps saying live stream to Zoom meeting to Facebook Live, and it keeps saying Rochelle J. And I'm trying to do it to the post.
That's because log out of
Yeah.
Facebook under your name and then log back in.
Back
as-
in.
Well,
Yeah.
I was logged in as the Upper Midwest Bead Society, but I will just close Facebook entirely. Maybe that'll help.
Yep, try it again.
We'll try it again. Yeah, so maybe if Facebook was closed, maybe that, but it keeps saying this thing, Zoom meeting title on Facebook. And I don't want it on my timeline. I want it, okay, share to a group, select group. It's just, I think Facebook changed their whole thing, so. Tia Pearson, let's try. Okay, choose where to post your Zoom meeting, share to a group, upper mid decide. Okay, let's try this. What subject does not have permission to create a live video in this group? Of course I do. I made the group. Damn it.
I feel your pain.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, let me ask Google a question.
How can I sign in as somebody else? Like, cause we're trying to this.
Post.
Did you sign out?
I'm not logged in at all. I'm not even anywhere close.
Log out anyway.
I did. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try a whole bunch of things, so I'm getting there. Jeez Louise, why are you doing this to me?
And it always comes at the worst time possible.
It always does.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to home.
Says,
I wanna be in my group. Okay, no, Upper Midwest Beat Society. Okay, where's the group? I am now interacting as Upper Midwest Beat Society.
There you go.
Yay.
So now let's see if we can go live on as Beat Society.
I'm gonna sign off in here because it's not letting me open it on the other computer and so I'm leaving and I'll be back.
Okay.
okay.
No. Share to a group. God damn. Subject does not have, God damn it.
And you created the meeting via the Upper Midwest and not your personal Rochelle one?
I did create it. Well, I created the event, my personal self, in the personal group.
And you in Upper Midwest? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And so let me go to event settings.
Because it says Facebook, you have to have your camera to go to live, but I don't know if that has to do with what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I just did the same thing, Paulette, and it just goes to my camera and doesn't go to any
Yeah, I
Zoom
don't
thing.
know. I mean, I don't know what the right question would be to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Facebook live
so
stream
let's see,
key.
group. Da.
How to share live video on your Facebook page, but that's probably like recorded. Maybe that's it. No, it's after it ended.
Okay, groups I manage.
Here now.
Okay, and see, because I'm managing the group. Okay, so then more. I mean, it's never done this before. What?
I don't know. That's like.
Okay, where am I? Okay, so maybe this. I don't know. We're trying it again.
How to share a live video. That's timeline. But doesn't Upper Midwest Beat Society itself have their own timeline?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're sharing to your group. And so we're selecting the group, Upper Midwest Beat Society group, you know, Tina Pearson. And it says go live. And it says whatever number 200 subject does not have permission to create a live video in this group. And so it just that doesn't make sense of why.
Maybe go into your permissions and double check.
Maybe Maggie can do it.
That's what I'm asking. So maybe can you do it, Maggie? Are you logged in as Maggie or Upper Midwest? So that's why I'm trying to say.
Diane Fitzgerald is texting or is chatting that you are live. If you look at your chat, Diane Fitzgerald has just chatted that you're live.
Yep.
Why does it say I'm not allowed to go live? So she's on Facebook. Okay, so there I see Diane's chat. Is
Hmm.
anybody on Facebook or has it on their phone?
I am, but I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, but she logged in through Zoom,
No,
not
on
Facebook.
Zoom.
That's what I mean, Diane. I want somebody to log into Facebook
I'm looking at Facebook now, in the actual meeting.
in the group.
Oh, I logged
Hey,
in through
Upper Midwest
Zoom.
Beach
Okay.
Society.
Hmm.
I don't know.
And so that's why I'm trying to go to events and maybe change my settings on the event. Export events, cat notification settings, highlights. Anytime posts can be made in this event. All notifications, da, 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 da. I don't know. Okay. It just doesn't make any sense. It's never done this before.
Okay, so, but we're recording in Zoom. I can
We're
see that that's
recording in
going on.
Zoom. I'm just trying to share to the Facebook so that people could watch us on Facebook, and it's not working.
So the one thing that they did change is they changed it to only show the highlights. So I wonder if maybe you can go into the more or the settings and the notification settings. And
that's where I just went. And so let's try it again.
And then highlight all notifications. I don't know if that would help.
Notification settings. I did highlight all notifications. I did just change that.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's also, let's see, duplicate event, export guest, or cancel.
Okay, I believe, Rochelle, I believe I am sharing.
You are, Maggie.
Let me check.
Maggie
Am I?
Thompson has started screen sharing,
Screen sharing, yeah.
but that's all you're doing is screen sharing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I didn't get anything on Facebook?
You have now shared the screen of the screen to the Zoom.
Oh, never mind.
Well, usually
here.
when you hit the word more, Maggie, then it says live
Yeah.
on Facebook, live on Workplace, live on YouTube. So when you hit the word more, what does yours say?
No, when I hit the word more, it just says pause recording, stop recording, or disable video
Okay, so
receiving.
I'm making you a host, not just a co-host. I'm making you a host, Maggie.
I see that up in the corner too.
Okay, so now Maggie,
Okay.
my more went away, so I can't do anything. So can you share it to the Facebook page?
I don't know how.
You're
Well,
talking
when
about
I
the
don't
more
know
on
what
the
I'm
Facebook
supposed
page, right?
when I hit more, it has at the top, it has the link and it says share this link to invite group members.
No, that's only Zoom.
That's on Facebook. That's where I got that on Facebook.
Really?
I'm on my phone on the Facebook one. And I hit more and it has that link at the top.
Yo's live community review jobs.
I don't know, but Maggie, you're gonna have to make me a co-host again because I can't do anything. So can you make me a backup co-host?
Okay. How do I do that?
You have to click the little dots right next to my name on Upper Midwest Beach Society by my picture here, and then make me a thing.
Did you go to videos, Rochelle?
Where? On Facebook or on Zoom?
On Facebook?
No.
And then because that was, I had mine under, it said highlights only, and I did
So
all video.
what do I do? Do I go into the event or do I just go to the page?
You go to the page marked videos. It says, I'm in the Upper Midwest Bead Society Facebook page.
Right, but we're not on the Facebook page for the Bead Society. We're in the group.
And
It's not the public page, it's
It's the-
only
It's
the
the
Okay.
2021
Okay.
membership.
Okay.
All right, I just Googled something Googled it and it under Facebook and it says, how do I go live in a Facebook group?
yeah.
It says you're in your group, in the newsfeed clip group. And then what's on your mind? Click the 3 dots.
So I go to the home of the page first?
Yeah, your group, I think it's your group page.
Okay.
And like, you're gonna say like, what's on your mind?
Let's see. Oh,
Like you're
what's
gonna
on your
post
mind?
something, what's on your
Okay,
mind?
so then, yeah, and so
All right,
then
then it
there's,
says, click the 3 dots together, see that?
um,
And that, what's on your mind, I guess.
well, yeah, but what's on your, there is, no, I can create a post. Okay, there's my
Yeah,
3
that's
dots.
where it says, click what's on your mind, and then it
Okay, so
says,
then
click the
live
3
video.
dots.
Okay, so then can I do, okay, so I
Then-
click the word live video, but it's not doing
Then
anything.
click live video. In the
Okay,
left menu, select where you like the go live now or schedule live video event for a future. So you want to
okay,
go live now.
Okay, I'm trying to go live now. Go live now, yeah, well, camera, whatever, go live now. Rochelle, post in a group. Yes, post in a group.
And it says click go live from the bottom left.
Right, well, I'm trying to find the group. Why do I can't, oh, here's Upper Mid-Beat Society, okay, so then,
What's on your mind?
what,
Post area.
here, go live. Let's see if it works. You can go live. I don't care about adding a title.
Yeah, it says you can add a description if you want. Then it says click go live in the bottom left.
Tia Pearson. Tia Pearson. Okay. So then it's thinking. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm just so sorry. Like I said, they changed everything since last month.
I put a
I'll
post on
understand. We all go
on the
through
page.
this too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I put a post on the page saying we were having technical difficulties and
Okay, so
Be
something
patient.
says live here. It's a different camera, so I don't know if you can see my other camera, but I'm trying to do the Zoom. How do we get our Zoom?
I can see you on the Zoom.
Yeah.
I know. It's thinking. I don't know. I have like 3 things now are spinning at once, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
Well, it seems to me that if people have the Facebook, that means they have a computer. And if they have a computer, they should be able to Zoom.
Right.
If you can't do it, oh, wait a minute.
Friends.
okay.
Says you are now live in the Upper Midwest Beat Society. I see a note that says that a few seconds ago, but I don't see where you're live.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
I got
It's
that.
now doing something to
Yes.
It
preparing.
says you're now streaming live on
On
Facebook.
Facebook.
So you
Where?
got it.
Yeah, it says that, yeah. So Rochelle, I'll
Where?
go ahead and I took a picture of this help thing and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I don't see it on Facebook.
Well,
I don't either.
I wonder if
Oh,
you're not on.
it's
I got you
doing
now.
something.
I've got it live on Facebook. You might have
Yeah.
to click out and click back in again.
You have to be on the
I'm
member.
getting this picture.
And
What's
yeah,
that?
it's on the member page. It's on the Monday member page. Yep. It says it is.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear it. So, and somebody has it in the background, so we can hear it there. Okay,
And
so,
that's me. I can see it on the membership page.
okay, perfect, wonderful. So thank you for your patience, everyone. Maggie, would you like to start us off with introduction?
Yeah.
Minute?
Yeah, I'm just going to do a really short intro and say welcome to our monthly UMBS member meeting. It took us a little while to get there tonight, but you know, we fumble around and stumble into the right path every so often, and tonight we did. So thank you for hanging in there with us. And I am now going to hand it off to Maxine, our resident joke teller, because we need a joke from Maxine every month.
Yeah, you do. So all I have for you today is a word of wisdom. Don't trust an electrician who doesn't have eyebrows.
Super adorable. So,
Thank you. We all needed that.
terrific. So if everybody else could mute their microphones besides our upcoming new speaker, Tia Pearson is our speaker of the month. So if you mute your microphones, then we will go to speaker view here. But Tia has been a bartender most of her life. And in 2014, she was told that she had to have a hip replacement in both hips. So her doctor wanted to find a new profession. So while she was out recovering from her first surgery, she did a ton of research looking for a way to occupy her time. So how did she find the time? She took all the beer cans, soda cans, and everything that she used at the bar at night and turned them into art. She started working with Tim Holtz and alcohol ink, and she was learning everything she could and created a whole new process with her and her mom, creating all sorts of jewelry, exciting home accessories, embellishments, all kinds of wonderful things, upscaling products from your household. So we have Tia Pearson here tonight to then tell us all about how she's upscaling all those great, wonderful things. So looking forward to it. So take it away, Tia.
Thank you for having us, guys. I'm gonna flip this over and just kind of pan around for you guys. We did these this fall. This actually takes tuna cans, and the base is a tuna can, and then the flour is made out of the cans. So we have been having, Rochelle has been saving me cat food cans too. Cat food cans work too. But everything up here has started out as your friendly beer can, soda can, LaCroix can. We did a couple of things for the interweave contest. This necklace here, we entered in the interweave contest as well as this pendant. And our process is pretty involved. It takes quite a while for both of us. Mom does kumihimo. She does both wire and beaded kumihimo. You can see the wire kumihimo on the pendant here. And then we have a couple others that are just straight up beaded strands. And then with the necklace that we entered for the interweave contest, there were beaded beads that she made. Oh, what is her name? Stephanie Eddy. She got some of Stephanie's kits and started learning. And so she makes the kumihimo, and I'll go ahead and make flowers and butterflies to embellish. But it starts out with the can, just a normal everyday can. And they get cut up and sanitized and turned into sheets. And we store them as sheets, take and soak them in hot water and bleach, and then go ahead and wipe them and dry them and store them in shoe boxes. And once they're dry, we're big fans of Tim Holtz. Tim Holtz is amazing. And Ranger has these great products. They are regular alcohol ink as well as alcohol ink pearls. And they come in about 75 colors. He's always coming up with new ones. And you use an alcohol ink applicator, which is just basically a piece of wood that has Velcro on it with regular everyday white felt. And you just do a little dab-a-doolia. You pick the colors you want. Alcohol ink is one of the most forgiving mediums that you can work with, because if you put it down and you get too much of a color and you don't like it, just go ahead and go back and put more until you do like it. Add colors. The pendant that we did, I hated it in the beginning, and I just kept adding colors and colors and colors until I actually liked it. And Tim Holtz actually asked me if I knew all of the colors that were in it. And I told him no. And he thought that was very funny. He said that had happened to him many times. If you don't know who Tim Holtz is, he's absolutely amazing. He has a whole line of Sizzix dies. He has a cutting machine. He has all kinds of stamps. So once you get it to your liking, the colors that you like, needs to dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Tim Holtz alcohol ink actually has a longer open time. So it takes a little bit longer, but it also allows you to work with it longer and change it than other alcohol inks. Once it's dry, as long as it's on metal or plastic, it's not going to come off, but we do seal ours with resin. We do a couple of different ways to get texture. All of ours have different kinds of texture on them. These are done with an actual embossing folder where it has texture to it and you actually send the pieces through. And when we do that, we actually cut the pieces out first and then send them through the Sizzix machine. You can also use, you don't have to use Ranger. I use a lot of Ranger, but I use other embossing powders as well. With stamps, we use different stamps to create texture. Like this guy right here is a great example. This one is the butt feathers of a butterfly. And I just took the whole back of the butterfly and just went all over it and then added black embossing powder to get the texture. When I do that, I do the entire piece of metal and then cut it out like this one. So once the embossing powder is down, then you send it through the Sizzix machine and get your shape. From there, it's carte blanche. You can do whatever you want to with them. You can turn them into earrings. You can turn them into pieces. This is a butterfly that's supposed to go on a card. And we actually took it and put it on. This is the project that I'm going to make for our BD Saturday. I'm not going to make the butterfly, but we're going to go ahead and do the found object lantern. But this is supposed to be just a flat butterfly, and I took and turned it into a 3D butterfly. You can add leaves, you can add beads. I have a couple right here that I actually took resin and I cut pieces of the metal out. They're little tiny butterflies that I actually added to a resin piece that came out of a resin mold. So you can do so many amazing things, and no one ever believes that they are made from a beer can. We did this one we're a part of the Mojo 2 group, which is Jesse James Beads, Leather Cord USA, Dakota Stones, Impress Art, and Tierra Cast. And they had a contest that we entered the nameplate for, and that was very fun. And then our third thing that you can do, this one is actually double embossed. So this one had a pattern put down with the embossing powder. Then we added several layers of resin and let it cure for a couple of days. And then I actually sent it through a leaf embossing folder to give it extra texture and make it look more like a leaf. These are also the ones that we used on the fall centerpieces. Sorry, that's mom's phone. We also have done weddings. We did a bouquet, boutonnieres, and bouquets for the bridesmaids, which was super, super fun. We've taken and added wire. Once you get them done, added beads and wire to them and made some really fun. This is actually how we started out. We started out making these gorgeous little hair pieces. We did some dance competitions a few years ago when we first started out. We've done some farmers markets and some really fun things. And I just keep trying to learn and try new things and add new techniques. I have a couple. This one is my favorite right now. It's super fun to see how you can use the exact same embossing folder and get totally and completely different results. Both of these earrings used the same embossing folder, but you would never ever know it because of the colors and the shapes. My favorite part about alcohol ink is that you never know what you're going to get. Pieces are one of a kind for the most part. We can get close on colors, but they'll never be exactly the same, which is super, super fun. And it's also really fun. You cannot like the color, and then once you send it through an embossing folder or add embossing powder to it, it totally and completely changes the whole product. And it's just so much fun. And it's so much fun creating our own colors, because mom will go ahead and do kumahimo and I will go ahead and create colors that match. And the fun thing about alcohol ink is if you have a wedding, I can totally and completely match your wedding colors. This one is my favorite thing, new thing to do. This one is 2 pieces when it starts out. And then it gets put together and it gets vellum, which is actually used for cards. If you've seen the cards that have the little frosty paper in between that like shows behind something, that's what vellum is. And if you take an alcohol ingot and put resin on top, it kind of looks like mother of pearl a little bit. So we've just been having so much fun learning, and it's definitely kept us busy during the pandemic. I spent most of the pandemic learning how to do resin. So it kept me somewhat sane. And that's pretty much all we have. If you guys have questions, we would love to answer them.
When you're cutting all this stuff out, like you said, you flatten it and clean it. How are you cutting it out? In the machine?
With the Sizzix. This is a Sizzix die. And what you do is you lay it onto the flat piece of metal. So this is the die. It's sharp on the bottom. You can put it sandwich in between the plates, run it through the machine, and this is what you get.
So then do you have to like sand it, smooth it, or is it sharp, or is it just smooth, or?
It depends on the piece. I made some earrings last night that are a little pokey, but they only have 1 layer of resin. Most of these have 5, and the resin tends to take care of your sharp edges for the most part. Very rarely do I have to go ahead and go back in and smooth with a file or anything. Because when the resin comes in, it goes ahead and rounds out your sharp edges because it fills in.
And
then
so they want to know how you apply the resin.
the resin gets applied with a paintbrush. And you do thin layers of the resin and then you have to let it cure. Takes around 24 to 36 hours, depending upon how thick of a coat you put on. I generally try to put a fairly thin coat because then it lays evenly. Ranger has a fantastic resin that is self-leveling. So for the most part, as long as your surface that you're laying your project on is level, then it'll go ahead and level itself out so your whole piece is level. So I don't usually have to buff them or anything. They just turn out perfect.
So you don't have to sand the beer cans at all down. They're all fine just the way they were. You just
Go ahead and
after clean, they're okay to just do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, everyone is really surprised when they touch them that they're not sharp.
Yeah, I mean,
And they
because they
look
look
like
like,
it.
I mean, it's aluminum, right? Or tin or,
Yeah, and you would think it would be, but when you put the resin on it, it is not sharp anymore.
well, how, they want to know, how do you
I've got a
remove the
question
top of
for
the
you,
can
Tia.
and
This is
like,
Maggie. How do you take your cans from a round can to a flat piece of metal?
yeah.
I have shearers. I give them to you, Mom. I have really pointy shearers and I cut off the top and cut off the bottom. So it winds up being
Anybody
pretty.
there?
Can you hear me, Maggie?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can anybody else hear her?
Yes, I can hear Maggie.
No, I meant Tia. Yeah, I can hear you, Tia.
I can hear
Okay.
Tia.
I can show you, Maggie. Mom's grabbing my shearers.
Yeah, that would be super helpful. And this is like a big metal shear?
Nope, they're just a little pair, like a little pair of kitchen shears. I got them off of HSN. They're specifically for cutting metal. They're very small. And then you go ahead and cut down the line. I usually get it closer to the top. This is a little hard to do on the camera. And then I just go ahead and strip it up so I don't have any rough jagged edges, so it's smooth. And then you just go ahead, because the physics will go ahead and straighten it out so it's not. I just go ahead and flatten it when I put it down. And then you're all ready to ink. And then you go ahead, if you are going to go ahead and put the pattern down, so you would ink first. So you would turn it from the aluminum to your color. And then, let me grab a stamp. If you wanted to put down a pattern with the embossing powder, this is one of my favorite ones. So I generally just take it, and I don't necessarily want it to look like a flower. I want to use it for a pattern and texture. So I tend to go ahead and just go every which way with the stamp. And then you go ahead and you pour the embossing powder on it. Actually, it's pointed my way, so. It's the newspaper. Because I want to reuse the embossing powder, I'm just gonna pour it onto a newspaper so I can put it back in the bottle. But now you have your pattern.
Sparkly.
It is very sparkly. That one's called Glitz. I just grabbed one of them out. I have probably, I don't know, 20, 25 colors. And
then you run it through the Sizzix machine?
this one, I actually hit it with a heat gun. This one you do with the heat gun first, and then you would send it through and cut the shape.
Whoops. Gravity wins every time.
It does. I'm just gonna pull this out of the way for just a second. It's not gonna go back to that, so that's okay. Little fella, get back up there. What you looking for, babe? Did the piece of metal go when I knocked everything over? And then you go ahead and you hit it with a heat gun. It's plugged in.
And the heat cures it into place or changes it?
Embossing powder is plastic.
Oh, so it's melting it onto there.
And so then we go ahead and use resin because it will pop off. The embossing powder will come off of the metal if you go ahead and work with it too much. You can send it through the Sizzix and cut the actual shapes, but if you like want to use one of these little guys to shape your petals, if you're making a flower, I use these to shape my petals if I'm making an individual flower. Like I did for Ricky and Shanna's boutonnieres, I took and made individual petals and made flowers. And like this one. But you have to put the resin on it first or it'll take your pattern off.
Where do you get your supplies?
I get them a few different places. I am a big fan of scrapbook.com. They are more of a local little guy and they have the best customer service. They are amazing. And they carry tons and tons of scrapbooking stuff, as well as all of Tim Holt's line. He has all kinds of stamps and dies, and he has, if you like to paint, he has distress. I haven't gotten into his distress paint because I really like the alcohol ink. I also do Joann's and Michael's when things go on sale.
They also want to know what kind of resin you're using. And can you use UV resin?
UV resin and alcohol ink don't like each other. It is really hard to get the UV resin to set. I have not had luck with UV resin. I actually use Ranger's resin is what I use. It doesn't come, the only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't come in very big packages, unfortunately. But it is the best one that I've found so far. It runs about $8 at Joann's when it's on sale. Otherwise, it's about 12 for the box. And that'll last me, because my things are small, it'll last me several projects, but I do have to keep replacing it. I wish it came in the great big containers, like when you're molding and stuff like that, because it does take quite a bit.
And so they want to see it go through your Sizzix machine. Do you have it available, like, and you set it up, or how you're supposed to do it, or like, is that too much for this setup? They're just wondering what, like,
I can send
I've
it through.
never seen it work.
Let me get some stuff out of the way so I can send it through. I call him Junior because I spend so much time with him. I decided he needed a name.
Well, while you're doing that, there's another question about after you process your ink and cut out the metal, are you able to recycle your scraps or use the scraps for something, or?
I do both. I recycle my scraps, and I also, a lot of times, they're like the pieces that I was showing the color on. I use them. I can cut out smaller pieces out of the scraps from something like this. So like, I need to figure out if I can get, okay. So you make a sandwich. Where did our piece go that I just did? So you lay your metal down, you lay your die down, and then you make a little sandwich. I have to pull him back a little bit. Goes through, and then you come back through.
Wow.
So there's that, which you could use this salvage with smaller dies to do like butterflies or tiny flowers, snowflakes. And then I also use these little guys that pop out of your die to put in resin, because I can make a flower on a regular resin piece. This isn't a very pretty flower, but it would be, use a pair of tweezers and you lay the resin down. You can do something from a mold that's pretty plain. You could do a color that would go with this, and then add these as decoration, and then coat them with resin so they stay.
Wow, that's so cool.
And then these have little pokies. There's tiny little holes right here. And you go ahead and poke it out. And voila.
That's just so cool. So do you paint both sides before you cut it out, or you only paint one side?
I only paint the inside of the can because I am a big fan of telling people that I make my own jewelry, and they ask how. And so then you turn it over and tell them it's made out of beer cans, because they don't believe you if you can't prove it.
God.
I had a lady argue with me in the grocery store. She's like, there is no way that's made out of a beer can. And I just pulled my earring out, and it happened to be a Heineken can. And I said, there you are, ma'am. I said, it's made out of a beer can.
You drink a
Wow.
lot of beer?
I have friends. Actually, Kayla at Dakota has been bringing me, she drinks the Trulies, which are the really big cans, and she's been bringing those in for me, which is really nice because the smaller the can, I cut up probably 75 cans at a time and to get the flat sheets, and oh, it kills my hand. But it's so much fun. I love doing it. So from this point, you would go ahead and hit it with the resin and let it cure for 24 hours. And then I would go ahead and fussy cut take the vellum and fussy cut around this so it would fit on the back. And you're still going to see the beer cans through it, but it will wind up looking like these when I'm done. It'll have the vellum in the little windows, and like this one. It also gives it stability, but it makes it, you can do a different color. You can do the creamy white, which looks like mother of pearl, which is my favorite so far. I'm also going to try using a paintbrush and coloring the different surfaces. So using some alcohol ink and just coloring in a lighter or a darker color and making each one a different color. So you would have an ombre effect. Have so many ideas, so little time.
We have a couple more questions. Let's see. What do you use for the base when applying resin? And that was that piece you talked about to put on the back thing?
Oh, you don't necessarily need a base. I actually have silicone mats that I put them on so the resin doesn't stick to it. So you can put anything down once it's resined on the silicone mats. I have I have 2 very old cookie sheets and they work perfectly. Look out, Shorty.
I don't think they want the cat toy.
No. Tough decided I needed her toy, and I've been curing these guys, and it's just a cookie sheet with a silicone mat, so the resin won't stick to it.
Oh.
So like this one didn't have anything underneath it. This one has had about 9 coats of resin.
Really? That's a lot of coats.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so then do you position, how do you position them so then to keep your things flat when you're adding your resin?
I hold them in my hand and I just paint them, and then I go ahead and lay them on the sheet.
Okay.
So I wind up covered in resin, but it doesn't bother me. I wind up with hot pink hands and resin all over me, but you use acetone. Pure acetone takes it off.
And so do you resin both sides or just one?
Just one, unless I'm using the vellum. If I'm using the vellum, I resin one side and actually use Tim Holtz collage medium on the back side.
What's collage medium?
Collage medium, when you're doing scrapbooking and things like that, if you're doing collage pages, it seals your pages. It works really well on paper, and so it works really well with the vellum. It goes ahead and makes it stay in place very smoothly and makes the back of it, it gives it a little bit more stability because you have all the cutouts like on this one. So putting the collage medium on the back, because if you tip this upside down and put the resin, you risk having the resin leak in underneath and get onto your front. But the collage medium won't do that because it has a drying time of right now. Like you paint it on and it's dry right now. And it goes ahead and seals the back.
Huh. Okay. So they want to know how much do these little die cuts cost?
It depends. It depends how many dies come in a package. Like, I just purchased this one. I can't wait to play with this one. I've already started playing with it. This is Tim Holtz. It's a bunch of little gears. And this one was originally $25 because there are 22 different dies in here.
Wow.
So they come in all different, they have all different shapes. And there's even, like, if you were a card maker, there's even one, this will cut out this pattern. So if you wanted to do a card, you could cut this out on the edge and then put vellum behind it. So you would have a cutout card. It's not gonna, this one is made to where it doesn't cut the edge of the card. It just cuts into the card. And then you have gears from, your little fella, from that size all the way down to this eensy weensy little fella. Come here, little fella. I can't get a hold of him, but there's one even smaller than this one.
So the question is, have you used scrapbooking dies in your Sizzix machine?
Yes. They don't have to be Tim Holtz dies. If they will cut paper, the majority of them will cut the metal. It just depends on the company. I get a bunch of them. This one actually came from Amazon. Amazon has a ton of them. I just got a whole bunch of them that are made for making leather earrings. And so there's all kinds of funky shapes, like this one, pretty much all these new ones. These are all supposed to be for leather earrings. That one, this one, and they cut the metal just fine.
Wow. Those are some cool patterns. How did you create the patterns on those two that you just put down? That's the same with just the funny stamping?
I know those are actually embossing folders. This one I purchased to go with the with Tim's gears. This one is what's called an embossing folder that goes through the machine. And so it has this pattern on the inside. And you put your piece of metal and then send it through the Sizzix machine, and it makes it like this. It makes it you actually have texture to the metal.
Wow. That's super cool.
If I'm going to do that, I cut them out first. I dye them and then cut them out and then add the resin. When you're doing the embossing powder, you can go ahead and put the embossing powder on the whole sheet. But I find that it's much easier to place because you can decide where you want this piece to go and what you want it to hit. So it turns out you can put it, it's going to turn out different if you put it here, or if you put it this way, or if you put it over here, because there's all different little pieces. And so it's going to look different. This one, I used the same embossing folder on all three of these, but they are all look different because of the colors and where I placed them in the embossing folder.
Cool. They want to know, do you ever make your free form? If they saw your stylus and want to know, or are they different? There's so many different size stylus. So do you do anything free form?
Free form, what do you mean?
I don't know. It says, I saw you at a stylus. Do you free form make designs at all?
For no, because it's so hard to cut the metal out. Are they talking about this?
I don't know.
Because this is actually for
It
shaping
was from
petals.
Grace. So maybe Grace, you could explain your question more. If you want to unmute and ask. Otherwise, they want to know, do you glue the vellum on the back?
You use the resin.
The resin.
Because resin is basically epoxy. Resin is basically a glue itself.
So with the stylus, you know,
Are you talking about this?
yes, yes, they have different sizes. So I was wondering if you ever rub pattern, you know, like draw patterns like it's a pen onto the metal at all?
I haven't, no. The only thing that I have done as far as that goes is actually using them to shape I don't have it out here, but I took the metal and I went like, I made a flower and I took its petals and I did this and it made it to where you could bend it. So then I bent it in and out. And so it was almost like your corrugated roofing is what it looked like, kind of. That's the only thing that I've done with these except for shaping petals, because when you're putting them together like this one, to get them to curve because they're metal, I use the bigger of the stylus to get them to do that.
Yeah, how do you put those big flowers together?
This was actually a punch that I took and I punched the petals out, and then I took a circle punch, so it has a circle on the back of it and underneath this, and glue, and I took and just tucked them in until it looked like I wanted it. I would curve the petals and then I would go ahead and dip the inside in glue and then go ahead and do them around in a circle, and then you use the button to hide the seam where they all meet in the middle.
Wow.
We did this one in purple and aqua and turned them into corsages for Ricky and Shanna's wedding.
Oh. And so they want to know, do you teach classes?
I haven't. You guys are the first class that I have taught.
Well, and you're going to be teaching the Saturday Beading Basics live in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, these are the first two things I've done.
And so what does it say? You could use the circle dies or forms used in metal smithing too, is what they think.
Are you talking about using like the dapping block?
I don't know. It's from Paulette.
Yes. So
Using the dapping block?
Forms and dapping blocks and all sorts of stuff.
I actually want to, I have a riveting kit that I want to try to play with because I think it would make more secure flowers than doing the glue. And I have a dapping block that came with it. I'm also working on learning how to metal stamp with the impress art so I could take these shapes and I could add a piece like a mandala to it or something like that. Oh, okay.
Just
Yes.
your video.
Hang on one sec. My back.
There you go. Now you're back.
I'm back. I'm just gonna plug her in real quick. I had to unplug her. I only have so many plugs and I had to unplug her to use the embossing gun. But I thought it would be really kind of fun to have. Oops, no, that's not it. To add the metal to it. And I would love to take some torch painting and some other metal classes to add to it as well. I think that you could incorporate quite a lot. I think it would be really fun. But I haven't gotten in. I have the dapping block, but I haven't learned how to use it yet.
And so Marlene has a question, or just type like the whole scenario of what you do first. Like with the vellum cutout, you paint it with resin first, then you place it on the metal, then you let it dry, then you apply the collage medium to seal it is the last step? Is
For the
that,
back,
we got it
for the
right?
back of it, yes.
So then that's just to the back, okay. So that's kind of your step by step. People are getting super excited. They're saying this is a whole new hobby, you know, like they're really, really thinking. So how much would a setup cost? Like if you wanted to start from A to Z, you know, your amount of how many, you know, your inks, what do you usually start with?
I started with colors that I liked. Tim Holtz has, he sells them in 3-packs, and Michaels has a whole bunch of them. And so as Michaels has had them on sale, I have purchased them. I have probably close to 80 dyes or inks, and I probably have a good 20 different embossing powders. And then I probably have what, Mom? Probably what, 200 dyes?
Something like that. You've got about what, 30 stamps at least?
Yeah, I have probably about 30 clear stamps. And then I also have an entire drawer full of punches. I probably have another 50 punches. And then the Sizzix machine itself was about $200. So I have several $1,000s invested in the time that I have been doing this.
Do you have like a favorite, like these are the 3 basic punches that, you know, I use all the time, and you have your favorite, or like cuts? What's your favorite shape that you're working with to make most of your stuff? Or
Oh, that's so mean. I keep getting new shapes, and they're kind of like my children. Every time I get a new shape, this one is my favorite. I think this one is my favorite one right now. I love Tim Holtz, and Tim Holtz loves steampunk. So the reason I got the gears is because I want to make, he doesn't think that you could make steampunk. He thinks it should be grungy. He doesn't
you're
think
a
it
little
should be
off
pretty.
camera. You got to push them a little further back.
I will. I'm
Okay.
just trying to, I don't have them resined yet, so they're not glued down. But I love this shape, and I'm going to actually put some crystals in it as well. And I took a gear and cut it in half, and then I took a couple of other little gears and set them in there. And then I put some of the alcohol ink. Comes in 4 different mediums. There's the regular alcohol ink, there's alcohol pearls, which is what made this pink pearlescent. There's alloys, which are metal, and then there's mixatives, which are like white and rose gold. And so I put some gold mixative in the holes of the gears, and now I'm going to resin it. And when you resin it, one of the things resin does is it makes the colors and the textures pop. That's one of the reasons that these 2 are so cool, is the resin actually brings out your detail and makes your colors pop and your pattern pop. So I can't wait till this one is actually resined. And then I'm going to put some amethyst with it and make my own ear wires. And I'm going to send them to him to show him steampunk can be pretty. It doesn't have to be grungy. And I think he'll get a kick out of it. I hope he does. He has a great sense of humor. And he also, one of the things I love most about him is his enthusiasm to share and inspire other people, and how just genuinely he loves what he does. So I'm excited. He loved the purple necklace that we entered in the contest. I was so excited because he liked it and commented on it like 2 seconds after I posted it to his page. And I was so excited. So
is so cool. Everybody's loving your designs and being so excited. So this piece here has like 3 different cutout steampunk things on top of the main big chunk, right? You've got like stacked there.
And I'll go ahead and resin those down and cure that. So I'll put resin on the base of it and put those down and let that cure for 24 hours. And then I'll probably put at least 3 coats over the top of everything. So it'll be a coat, let it dry for 24 hours, a coat, let it dry for 24 hours, and then a 3rd coat and let it dry for 24 hours. And then I will add the crystals, and then I can go ahead and make something. I can add the ear wires and the amethyst.
And so by painting it with a paintbrush, they get all the same level of thickness in your layers, or is there any tricks keeping it not get glumpy or lumpy or?
That's the really nice thing about using the Ranger, is that it's self-leveling. So as long as your surface is level, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to do the at least 3 layers, is because I haven't decided if I want it totally and completely level, because like this one is smooth when you touch it, but this one is not. And I like both of them, because when you touch this has a texture. It had fewer layers of resin.
Wow.
So it's just based on what you want to go for. And these are not rough in any way when I wear them. I love them.
She did explain how she applied her resin coats, but she could go over it a little bit more. So you paint it first with the color, and then
Sorry.
and then you add your glittery stuff, the powders, and then heat melt the powders.
Yes, if I'm gonna use the dies or the stamps and the embossing. So you would go ahead and you would ink your metal like we did, making it pink, and then go ahead and lay down the embossing powder and your stamp with your pattern, emboss it with the embossing gun. And then I would go ahead and coat it with the resin.
And then you put it all together in its pieces, parts, like if you're creating that cool necklace or something, or.
Yes, that necklace had a die that was that flower in multiple sizes. And so I cut out all the different sizes of that, resined them, and then put them together. So all the pieces are the same thickness, because if you try to do it when they're put together, just because of the way things are, your resin will come to the inside when they're already put together. That's why you want to do it before you put them together.
And the question is, are you using clear embossing powder or transparent or many colors?
Many colors. Like this is, I think this one is called Soot. It's black. I have gold, I have champagne, I have silver. This one is actually a blue. So it's a blue embossing powder that I put down a zebra stamp, and then put down the dark blue embossing powder.
Oh.
And then put resin over the top. And then this is a piece that Mom made with the kumi on the bottom. And then I just turned it, it's a post. I just glued a post to the back of it.
Okay, yeah, because that's what they were wondering. How do you make holes for the earrings? Do you glue them onto the back? So how do you?
It depends on the die. A lot of these new dies that are made for the leather earrings, the die itself actually punches the hole for you. I also use glue-on bales. This is a glue-on bale at the top. Panda Hall has some really nice glue-on bales. I have been wearing these a ton, and they are really, really nice. This is a little bigger of a glue-on bale that I used. I also just bought some ribbon crimps. I haven't used them yet. I think I made this pair. Can you hand me the pair that I'm not wearing?
Where is it?
It's just right there by little baby Georgetta. I made this pair this morning and I didn't get enough resin on them. I only put 1 coat of resin on them. I got in a hurry because I wanted to see what they look like. But I used a glue-on bail for this one, and it actually is a little bit too long for an earring. So I'm going to trim it up a little bit and use a ribbon crimp. So it'll wind up being a little bit shorter because I haven't tried the ribbon crimps yet. But this actual die comes in 4 different sizes. And so when you cut it, you get I got all 3 of these sizes. And I sent 2 of them through the embossing folder and left 1 just the plain purple. And then since I've been working for Dakota, I've just been gradually getting gemstones as well. So this is amethyst, it's regular amethyst, and then light amethyst. Oh, and pinch bails work too. This one. This one has a rhinestone pinch bail.
Cool. Wow. What pretty purple colors.
Purple is my favorite color.
How many different colors of purple paint do you have, Tia?
9. And 2 embossing powders. I have more blue because he doesn't have as many. Purple is one of the colors that he has the fewest of. There's like about 17 different blues. There's about 10 different reds. There's about 9 different pinks, 5 oranges, I think 8 yellows. And just depending upon how you use them, you can make even more colors, because you can actually use 91% rubbing alcohol, which is just now starting to be available again. You can fade your colors with it.
Okay. They're wondering if you've tried the flat Swarovskis, any of the flat backs, and use those type of crystals mixed into your stuff.
I have. I love them. It works really well with the resin because you put a really thin coat of resin, and then you go ahead and lay down the flat backs. I also want to try, Press Art actually has a crystal setter, which will actually make just a tiny little divot in what you have. So you have almost a little hole, so your crystal will set better. So it's not just setting on the surface. So it's actually set into it. And I want to try that with the resin because I think I could get it to work. I won't hit it like you would for the metal, but I think if you just took and when the resin was tacky, you could go ahead and push it and then go ahead and add your crystals. And then they would look actually set. Like this one actually has flatbacks, Swarovski flatbacks in it. Move you guys out of the way. So this one is one of my absolute favorites that we have done. I absolutely hated the metal that this one was. And it was right after I first got the pearls, and I just kept adding color and adding color and adding color, and I hated it. It turned out terrible. And I put it away, and I came back the next day and I added a little bit of the alloys to it, and it turned out perfect. This one has about 9 layers of resin on it. This is actually supposed to be a petal for a flower. It's a David Tutera. and you're supposed to make these big giant paper flowers out of it. And I thought it would make a beautiful pendant, and it did. And then again, Mom did the metal kumihimo with wire that Stephanie Eddy teaches. She's amazing. Have you seen any of her stuff, Maggie?
I think Maggie is having trouble with her sound, and she keeps getting kicked on and off.
That's not very nice.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, Maggie. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so maybe everything's settled down. Stephanie Eddy has a book out, one that I know of for sure through the Interweave store. She was published in Beadwork, must have been a couple of years ago. So yes, I have heard of her, and wire isn't my thing, but she does a magnificent job with it.
Her stuff is gorgeous, and it's really fun. Mm-hmm. See, you guys like the cord and the beads, and I bought one of your kits, and I think I'm going to try metal before I try your kit.
And that is a totally personal choice, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the important thing is that you're doing something. You know?
I've heard it's really hard on your hands, however. The woman, Jean O'Donnell, who was teaching our Saturday class when she was doing the knitting with wire and knitting and doing some flat wire kumihimo, said it just tore up her hands really bad. So she wrapped them in all that medical tape before she started. But I don't know. I've never kumihimoed or crocheted with wire, so
I
wire
can't.
wrapping's hard on your hands.
The crocheting is really hard. It's very hard for me to crochet with the wire.
That wire on the disc, the kumihimo disc, is extremely easy to do.
Yeah, the disc takes most of the
tension of the wire.
Yeah, because it holds the tension itself. When you're knitting and crocheting, you have to hold the tension, and the disc itself does most of the tension for you. Because like I have a lazy daisy and wanted to do some Viking knit, and I think that the wire kumi would actually be way easier than the Viking knit.
Okay. And so what gauge they want to know, was the kumi necklace made? What wire gauge?
It's 26 gauge, isn't it, Jordy? Mm-hmm. It's 26 gauge. It's artistic. I think that it would be even easier than the artistic wire is your para wire, because your para wire is more flexible. Wire working is my first love, and I love para wire. It's amazing.
Is that an aluminum based wire versus the
no, it has copper. Some of it is copper as well. The coating is almost impossible to get off. I have not actually, like the artistic wire, you have to be really careful with the kumi and the crocheting, because you actually take the color off if you use any of the color ones, and the para wire doesn't do that, and it's more flexible. I'm still trying to convince Kayla, we carry artistic wire, and I'm trying to convince Kayla and Heidi that we need to carry para wire so I can get 40% off. There's method to my madness.
And so, no, I get it. We all want what's the easiest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we want it at work.
It's really nice not having to run to Michael's. I can be like, oh, they won't carry alcohol ink. I already tried that one. So I still have to run to Michael's or Joann's or order it.
And so, do we have any more questions from everybody? it's been a super chatty night, so I've been trying to read them all. I hope I caught them all. And but they love your designs, they love it all. And so when you were attaching, because you made me this wonderful vase, and it has the little twinkle lights. This is what she's teaching for our class on Saturday in 2 weeks, Saturday the 15th. And so it's just so cool. So these are like little, what do you call them? They almost look like oak leaves. And so that's one of the cutouts, the oak leaf and maple leaf and.
Yep, those are Tim Holtz. Those are one of the bigger sets. I think that set has like 15 different leaves.
And then these are real pine cones you put on here, right?
They are. And then I alcohol inked them. Some of them are green and some of them, I did some that have just a little bit of metallic to them. There's also some wood beads, and I got the wheat looking stuff from the floral department. It's actually real from Michael's. And then the base of that is a tuna can.
Ah. Gotcha.
And then it has the tiny lights inside, which if anybody does fairy lights, the tiny lights actually are the cheapest way to do fairy lights. And they're so nice because you can change, they take the little hearing aid batteries and you get a set of 2 of them for $7.
And that's what these are in here. This is those fairy lights you're talking about?
Yep, the tiny lights. You can get them at Joann's, and half the time, especially at Halloween, you can get them at 50 off. So you get 2 sets for like $3.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And you can replace the batteries. They're so nice.
Cool. I was wondering. It's just so super cute. And so I have it on my little shelf at work here.
You can also take an alcohol, like if you wanted to have purple, if you wanted to have purple lights, you could take alcohol ink and alcohol ink those little bulbs and you would have purple lights or green lights or pink lights.
So let's see, are there any other questions? And people think that Amazon carries Tim Holtz stuff too. And
they do. They're just not always the cheapest.
Okay.
I'm cheap.
No, well, if you want 30 purples and 16 pinks and yeah, I can see why. And everybody loves your steampunk, and yeah, it's so exciting. I mean, it's just, so what's next of your vision of what you want to create? Like, you've got all these neat things. Are you going for more home decor or more jewelry?
We're gonna do both. My next thing that I'm trying to create is, I don't think masks are going anywhere anytime soon. And so I have not seen anyone do a pretty mask extender that goes across the back of your head and then you put your mask on it. So that is my next project.
That's pretty cool. Then, and Mom, what's her project to then put in there, because you're a team, aren't you? I mean,
we are.
Yes. The big thing is working with the wire, making different things with the wire. When I first started, you did not want to be around me because of my frustration and language and etc. But since I've gotten it to where I can do it really well, I enjoy it very much. And Stephanie has evolved with her kits, going from just plain wire to adding beads to being able to take your wire and combining the beads at the same time on the, you have a particular disc with a pattern, and you can start out doing the wire and then you can incorporate your beads. And I'm learning how to do that right now.
Well, that sounds really exciting. And so I can't wait to see what you all come up with.
We're gonna start trying to be, when you were the chief bottle washer, photographer, and poster, it takes me some time to be able to post. So I have a bunch of stuff that I have just made recently, and I'm gonna start trying to be better with posting and all of that fun stuff.
It's really tough. I set a whole like half a day just for social media, and you put it in your week planner, and it's just part of it. Is the only way I can figure out how to do it. So if anybody else on the board or the group has any ideas of how to get your social media more to just into your daily life, please help us out.
We are not millennials that it's like attached to us and we breathe it.
Can we see your face, Tia? They want you to put your camera back onto so we can see you and your mom, and because you're just so beautiful.
And Mom, introduce yourself again. Everybody's just calling you Mom.
I go by Kat, K-A-T. So my name is actually Kathy, but I prefer Kat. So, yeah. And I'm in a wheelchair right now. So this jewelry has been a lifesaver. Tia started me with the Kumihimo, and I had quite a struggle learning how to do it. And I called her some names too. But I've been fortunate enough to get a hold of a DVD that Ann Dilker had that helped me learn how to do it. And then Stephanie, I absolutely adore her.
And then you took the class from Maggie.
Yes, and I took the class from you, and that has helped a lot. So it's been a journey. It really has, but it's been a lifesaver, giving me something to concentrate on and create. I've made necklaces and bracelets and earrings, and sometimes we combine our stuff, sometimes we don't, so it just, yes, I love it.
We have a whole bunch of ideas for Christmas for ornaments and some home decor and maybe some fun Halloween stuff.
Well, then maybe for our holiday workshop that we're having for UMBS in November, you might want to teach a little holiday ornament class.
That would be fun because there's some really fun ornaments to do. Really, really fun ones.
And so we will definitely look forward to that. And so everybody should, put on their dates, May 15th on Saturday to check in. Tia's going to be at 1:00. It's just her and I that day. So we'll each take a little longer in our project. So she'll be able to, show you. So we'll put the supply list up there as well. I'm going to make the event here. And so then if you want to create your thing along with Tia, like I said, she'll have the supply list for everything. If anybody is looking for the bottom is just the tuna can or cat food cans. I do have extra cat food cans at Bobby Bead. If anybody wants any, they can come get them. I've been recycling them and saving them. And so you can always come.
And I highly recommend going to Goodwill if you can't find anything at Goodwill, because sometimes they have a ton of fun, different shaped.
That's where you got the top glass domes, right?
Mm-hmm. And if you can't find them at Goodwill, you can also get them at Michael's. And I know for sure Hobby Lobby has a bunch of them last time I was in. But you can take, what I'm going to show you one that I have done that I'm doing where I took a vase and one of those, and I'm going to make different size votives that are going to have the tiny lights that go all the way up through. And the vase is putting the vase and then you just hot glue one of the domes to the vase and it looks like a pedestal candle holder.
Nice. And so, any other questions? People saying thank you, thank you, thank you. This was so fun to learn about. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great presentation.
Oh, thank you. This was my first one. So thank you for being my guinea pigs.
Yeah, no, it's our technical difficulties here. So that's partly, so we didn't mean to hold y'all up at the beginning, but
That's part of the learning curve.
it sure is. And since you're all so nice, we're all in this together, one big group. And so we really appreciate you coming on a Monday night and hanging out. And
well, we appreciate being able to have somebody to show our stuff to. Since the pandemic, we haven't been able to do some of the things that we did before. Our special fun was the
farmers market. We did a farmers market that was an IDS every Tuesday, and that was lots of fun.
We really enjoyed that because we enjoy showing people what we're doing. And even if they don't get something, they enjoy looking at it because it is pretty.
it really, really, really is. And so absolutely. Your stuff is so creative and so alive, even though it's made out of metal, it really looks like it's alive,
Well, we put our
flowers when you can have aluminum flowers.
Well, that's one nice thing about the bouquet that she made for Andrea. She made probably 50, 60 white flowers. And then she put beads and other stuff as well. But Andrea has that for the rest of her life. She has it decorating her home.
And it'll never die.
And it'll never die. And a friend of Tia's bought some for his aunt. And they were pins. And she won't wear them, but she decorates her house with them because they're so pretty. So that makes us feel good that people can enjoy what we do.
God, yeah, so inspiring. My gosh. And the recycling, upscaling aspect of it, we have to be greener and greener every day in order for the world not to just, be over polluted. So I just can't wait to see what you upcycle next.
Trying to figure out how to, right now, I can't afford the micro brew beers that are so big that have the big cans. So I've been drinking beer bottles and I'm like, ooh, now I need to figure out what to do with my beer bottles.
So, but the the tops you can make stuff out of too, right? The bottle caps.
You can. That's like, the cans, you can actually use the bottom of the can to make the base of a flower as well. So
really? Even though it's not flat?
Yeah, it works really well, especially if you're going to make a great big one. I wanted to make some great big ones to put in the bathroom so they would go up real tall, and it worked great because you just take the petals and you put it in the concave spot and then I use a lot of fancy buttons from Hobby Lobby as centers, and yeah, it turned out super cool.
Right on. That's just so cool. Oh my gosh. Just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then you can put them outside too and they'll wear within the weather. They won't like,
I don't know. I haven't tried putting them outside. One of the next things I want to do is, Jeff has slabs of the impression jasper, and Tim Holtz, I just got them. They're all these funky bugs, and I want to make little garden bugs, but I don't know how they're going to wear outside. I don't know how the resin will take to rain and all of that. So that's to be determined if they will work or not, but I think they would be super fun.
yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, it's just so amazing. Thank you so much. Everybody keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, so so where people can find you, will you post a link to like your Facebook or Instagram or website, or so how people could find you in the future? Can we
Yes. Do I just go ahead and go to the Facebook page to do that, or?
yeah, our Facebook group page or the regular Facebook page? We put the event on both of them, and all the posts are both of them. It's also on Bobby Bead. So yeah, or else, yeah, we can just, yeah, we want people to find you. So anything, you're more than welcome to add, and any links or any more pictures you have that I didn't add, you know. We just want everybody to find you afterwards, and then we'll catch up more with the ingredient list on the new event for the 2 weeks. So then you can all follow and create along with her on May 15th.
15th.
Yes, 1 o'clock
1 o'clock.
Central
Yeah.
Time.
And I will go ahead and add a link because we just have the Instagram. It's Tia P Designs, but I'll go ahead and add the link to it. And I'll also add a couple of links to some alcohol ink tutorials if you guys would be interested. Tim does some great tutorials. It gives you more in-depth things. You can do all kinds of cool things and incorporate them into whatever you want to use.
Yeah, I think they would love that. So looking forward to it.
And I'm going to say,
Thank
when
you
you go,
so much.
I thank you for how positive all of this has been. It is fantastic. I'm a big fan of positivity and inspiring people and being inspired by other artists. So thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Tia. Thanks, Kat. It's just been so much fun hearing
And
about.
for your beer bottles, if you break them, you could use the glass pieces on your metal.
Ooh, that's a cool idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because you could shatter those and then you could go ahead and ink them whatever colors that you wanted and then add them. That's a cool idea. I like that.
Oh, more texture. Like I said, we're looking forward to the, you know, your imaginations between the two of you are just, you know, limitless.
I wish I could push a little button and have like, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, can I just push a little button and print it out so I can do this when I wake up?
That's what Alexa's for. Can't she just take notes for you?
Not at 3 o'clock in the morning. That would wake Mom up. I didn't see Nanita. Will you guys tell Nanita I said hi?
I sure will. That she's right here. Nanita, unmute yourself.
Hi, Tia. Love you,
Hi,
dear.
Nanita.
How are you?
Good. How's KJ? How's the fam?
Oh, they're great. In fact, I went to Haley's softball game, and Liam's into hockey and lacrosse, and a couple of years ago, Haley was at cheer. It's a sport, and she was her team came 7th in the nation.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think of you all the time, and poor Jason was laid off.
As was I.
Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
sweetheart. Yeah.
But you're at Goody Beads Dakota Stones now, right? Happily, like.
I am. Did I tell you that Jackie hired me full time?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jackie hired me full time about a month ago. So I love it. They're very kind over there, and I never knew I would love being around the Stones as much as I do, and I'm learning so much from Ricky, which is super cool.
There's a lot to soak in over there, that's for sure.
There is. I came out, Jeff was on Jewel School the other day, and I was making dinner, and I came around the corner to Jeff saying, yeah, I don't really lick stones anymore. I'm like, did you used to lick stones a lot? And Ricky goes, oh yeah, I still do. I lick them all the time. I was like, okay. I did not know that was a thing.
Well, it's the raw stones that you lick. That way you can see the true color of it, where they're not polished yet. So as just a normal rock hound, that's what you do. You pick up a rock and you lick it.
I did not know that was a thing.
You really shouldn't, but we do anyway. So
I was like, that is something I never thought I would hear my boss say.
I have one more comment to Tia, and I wanted to thank you for teaching me about gambling, because I'm still doing that job. I still do gambling returns. So
wow, I worked for them until I got back from my second hip surgery, and HTT wanted me to be more available, and so I quit. But I actually really enjoyed doing pull tabs. That was cool. I taught Anita about like the gambling and how it worked, because she does the accounting side for them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was a fun afternoon at the New Century Theater.
well, it's a whole new world. So we're so excited to have everybody in the beading family. So Dakota Stones, Goody Beads is so close. We'll get there on another field trip one of these days. So as soon as we can be back in person, we'll schedule a field trip to Dakota.
That would be fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you on May 15th at 1:00 Central Time. Okie dokie. And this will be on Zoom and the public Facebook page and the Bobby Bead Facebook page. So you can join us any way that you want on May 15th.
Sounds good. Can't wait. Hope you guys enjoy the class.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Have a good night.